Dayton Public Schools now has a new superintendent. Last time we brought you the long-awaited result, or last night I should say, we brought you the long-awaited result of the district's search for a superintendent. Dr. David Lawrence took over his new role officially this morning after being interim superintendent for nearly 9 months. Today, Lydia Bice caught up with him. So Lydia, what are his goals for the district now moving forward?
This morning, I asked Superintendent Lawrence what his #1 goal is moving forward, and he told me culture. He says that if the district can win when it comes to culture, then things like customer service and community will follow suit. Now, what some of our viewers at home may not realize is that Dr. David Lawrence is the district's first superintendent in its history who actually graduated from DPS. What does becoming superintendent mean to you as a graduate of this school district?
I will say that it is special for me to be a 1984 graduate of Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School. And I have to tell you, when I was sitting in Ms. Carson's English class, who was a mentor of mine, she actually pushed me to get into principalship. I never once thought that I would be the superintendent of Dayton Public Schools.
Now, Lydia, we know the district is facing a lawsuit after that incident at Rosa Parks Early Learning Center back in September. So what did Dr. Lawrence say about the situation moving forward?
So I asked him if he would change anything about how the district handled that situation looking back. And he says now that he has more experience under his belt, he says he would have changed how the district communicated about that incident. He says they would have communicated faster and more efficiently. Now, our viewers may remember that parents within the district
We are seeing that sunset. Clouds have started to make their way in, so not quite as sunny as we were earlier into the day, but it's been beautiful. I have a coat on, but it's really not terribly cold out here. It's not that bad at all, in fact. Here's a look at temperatures. Upper 50s right now, sitting at 58 in Dayton, 58 in Troy, 59 in Sydney. It's feeling good. Again, those clouds building in, and then eventually we'll get some rain, but for right now we are sitting warmer compared to this time yesterday. 6 degrees warmer in Dayton, 8 degrees warmer in Springfield. But our next weather maker heads in overnight, so that's what's going to be bringing us some rain back in the area. We'll see cloudier skies overnight, waking up to 40s and even a couple of rumbles of thunder possible as we head into the morning hours of tomorrow. So I'll track that rain. I'll let you know how much we're expecting coming up.
Tonight, the man who confessed to shooting to death his 3-, 4-, and 7-year-old sons was in court trying to get the statements he made to police thrown out. Chad Duerman and his attorneys are trying to suppress what he said to officers after his arrest last June in Monroe Township. They're claiming Duerman's confession was coerced and officers intimidated their client. One of the detectives admitted he did not read what's known as the Miranda rights word for word.
You did say you have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions. But the part of the card goes on to say, and to have a lawyer with you during questioning. You did not read that part, did you?
No.
Why not?
That kind of is redundant. It kind of repeats itself, and it's not the important part for me.
The defense also says statements Duerman made to a nurse and a social worker should not have been recorded on body cameras due to privacy protections. The judge is expected to rule within a month. Duerman's trial is set for July. Attorney General Dave Yost, Blue Ribbon Task Force, announced today some recommended changes for the future of statewide law enforcement training. In this special report, there were 7 primary recommendations to changes in things like firearm qualifications and certification levels. The report also breaks down coursework with 72 hours of substitutions to replace outdated requirements.
These are all multidimensional recommendations that are designed to work together There's no silver bullet here. There's no one new thing that's going to happen, although there's a bunch of new things. There's not one old thing that was a mistake or that we're going to stop doing altogether. What this is a holistic approach that's designed to look at the entirety of what it means to be a law enforcement.
Now, one change Yost touched on was virtual reality training that simulates real-life high-pressure situations. Now, he says this allows officers to make mistakes and learn without the real-life consequences. Federal transportation officials are now awarding local communities $1.25 billion worth of grants to improve their roadway safety. Now, the announcement comes 2 years after the Biden administration released its national roadway safety strategy with the goal of reducing traffic deaths to zero. Traffic deaths were on the decline for 3 decades until they spiked during the pandemic. Officials say they're starting to level off, but last year alone, nearly 43,000 people were killed on U.S. roadways.
These are not just statistics. These are our family, our friends, our coworkers, our neighbors, our fellow Americans.
The grants help communities with any projects they believe can improve roadway safety, from better lighting to wider roads to elevated crosswalks and even protected bicycle lanes. Tonight, President Biden has forgiven more student debt, this time for about 153,000 borrowers. The White House announced Biden approved $1.2 billion of debt cancellation for those enrolled in the SAVE plan. Now, the relief will go to those who originally borrowed $12,000 or less and have been making payments for the last 10 years. Biden's administration has now approved almost $138 billion of student loan forgiveness. And for those students who have hit a roadblock filling out their federal financial aid forms for the 2024-2025 school year, there's now a workaround. Roughly 2% of FAFSA applicants have not been able to complete their financial aid forms because their parents don't have Social Security numbers. The Education Department says it's a glitch among other glitches in the system and is now working to fix the problem. In the meantime, students can fill out the form and actually submit it incomplete until the issue is fully resolved next month. And today starts in-person and absentee voting for the March primary. If you're mailing in your ballot, they must be postmarked by March 18th to be counted. In-person voting is at your local boards of election Monday through Friday and includes the 2 Saturdays and Sunday before Election Day. March 12th is the deadline to request absentee ballots. Applications must be received by 8:30 that night. And of course, Election Day is March 19th. Polls open at 6:30 in the morning and close at 7:30 that night. You can find all these important dates at voteohio.gov. Plus, find your early voting location, request an absentee ballot, and even view your sample ballot. Americans now spending their disposable cash on necessities. How this lines up with what's considered a good budget. And Ohio is making it easier to find the right nursing home for your loved one. Coming up, the new tool online that's set to make the process way less stressful.
Plus, I'm tracking some rain for our Thursday, how much we're expecting. That's coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
We have a little bit of everything in this photo from the Grand Canyon. On top, that's snow falling above the canyon. Below the white, the snow is melting into rain in warmer temperatures. Then sunshine hits the raindrops and forms a rainbow. People in New Orleans woke up this morning to a big blanket of fog over the Big Easy, and serene doesn't begin to describe this morning twilight in Mobile Bay.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Tonight, we're getting a better idea of just how much inflation at the grocery store is actually eating up Americans' paychecks, hitting the highest level in more than 30 years. National correspondent Ultra Anashar has a look at how consumers are giving up their disposable income to pay for necessities.
Sticking to a monthly budget hasn't been easy during the worst period of inflation in decades. Newly released data from the USDA shows consumers spent 11.3% of their disposable income on food in 2022, the highest share since 1991. It was largely driven by a spike in spending on dining out after COVID lockdowns. Between 2019 and 2023, food prices rose 25%, according to the USDA, in large part due to supply disruptions from the pandemic and Russia's war in Ukraine and an avian flu outbreak.
When I say cereal, you say dinner. Cereal!
Dinner! Oh, okay, I'll go marinate.
High grocery prices are why the CEO of WK Kellogg says their Cereal for Dinner campaign took off.
The price of a bowl of cereal with milk and with fruit is less than $1. So you can imagine why a consumer under pressure might find that to be a good place to go.
High rent also eating up more of a paycheck. The conventional recommendation is to not spend more than 30% of your income on housing costs. Realtor.com chief economist Danielle Hale explains why that went out the window after lockdowns.
Rents surged and grew by double digits for more than a year. So we saw a big increase in how much people were having to pay to rent an apartment home.
That was Ultra El Nashar reporting. Well, back here at home in the Miami Valley, I am telling you, it has been the best 2 days that I have seen here in a really long time. And I'm really kind of hoping at least the sunshine will stick around for part of it.
I wish I could
I'd
give you that forecast. I had the windows open today,
me too.
like fresh air in. Tomorrow won't be terribly cold, but it is going to be rainy. In fact, a pretty soggy day on the way. We do have a weak front kind of making its way into the area right now. This is increasing some clouds, and then notice some radar returns off to our west, indicating some showers. Likely not getting a lot of that reach the ground, but we will continue to see rain chances increase through the evening, and then eventually this area of low pressure heading its way in, bringing us widespread rain in the forecast tomorrow. So overnight, we will see scattered showers begin to develop across the area, and then becoming widespread as we head into the late morning afternoon. This is about 11 a.m. So potentially some heavier rain for our northern counties before it really builds in for the entire region by the second half of the day. So evening commute likely going to be pretty messy out there. Plan on those soggy conditions. That then clears out by late into the day on Thursday. Colder air sliding in. Going to see a brief chance for maybe a spot shower as heading into our Friday, even into our Saturday time frame. Could even see a couple of snowflakes with colder air sliding in. So I'll talk about how cold we'll get and how much rain we're expecting coming up.
It's, of course, one of the most difficult decisions a family can make. Which nursing home is best for my loved one? Well, Governor Mike DeWine and the Ohio Department of Aging unveiled an online navigator today. It offers side-by-side comparisons of nursing homes on both quality measures and health and safety violations turned up in inspections. The governor says Ohio is now leading the nation in getting such vital information out to families, many in tough circumstances.
With this tool, Ohioans will no longer have to spend hours online searching and making notes because now information will be up to date, comprehensive, and all in one place.
The Department of Aging Director Ursula McElroy, says consumers can pull up a map to compare facilities within a 5-mile radius of their home or even search among Ohio nursing homes as far away as 100 miles. Yellow Cab Tavern announced the Yellow Cab Food Truck Rally is now returning for its 11th season. On April 12th, the rally kicks off with 8 specialty food festivals through September. This year's lineup kicks off with Grilled Cheese Fest. Oh my goodness. The others, mac and cheese, yeah, that's one of the better ones. And Taco Fest is really good. Now we've got a full lineup and dates right now on our website at Dayton247now.com.
So soggy weather in the forecast for tomorrow. Widespread rain, especially by the second half of the day. And we'll see some heavier pockets here and there, maybe even a couple of rumbles of thunder during the day tomorrow as well. Overall, anticipating about 1/2 inch. Could see some higher totals across the area, maybe some spots getting up to 3/4 of an inch or up to 1 inch of rainfall, but just a soggy one expected heading into our day tomorrow before we start to see some quieter and colder weather slide in. So it does look pretty cold on Saturday. We even have the potential for maybe a couple of flurries making their way in, with high temperatures only in the mid-30s for our Saturday. Notice how we rebound very quickly, though. 50 on Sunday, back up to 60 on Monday. So mild weather returns as we start off next week. But I'm going to time out our 7-day forecast. I'll have a look at that coming up in just a bit.
A Miami Valley favorite now has a new location coming up. We've got a look at the new Blueberry Cafe and what it has to offer. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Well, the Blueberry Cafe has been serving the Bellbrook community for over 20 years. Now, the original location is relocating across the street, and the cafe added a new location in Kettering. Tage Joshi was there for the grand opening celebration.
Blueberry Cafe, it's a staple place to get breakfast right here in the Miami Valley. Their Bellbrook location that's been open since 2004 closed up just a few months ago, but the brand new location in Kettering is now open. This morning was their grand opening. There was a literal line out the door this morning. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the great stuff here. If you look around across the restaurant, so many smiling faces came to join the team here for the big grand opening today. A lot of these regulars, even I chatted with some new customers here at the Blueberry Cafe, and they're known for great food like the pancakes. If you look at this table right here, look how big that pancake is. It's nearly the size of this giant plate. Of course, this one's made with blueberry, and across the board, the main thing you need to know is they are now open every day but Monday. You can come in here and get some good for the Blueberry Cafe. Customers are waiting in line this morning. Not sure if that's going to be the case every day at 7 a.m., but regardless, get here early if you want to get a table. It's a good place and a great way to support a local business right here in the Miami Valley. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, great weather across the Miami Valley for today, making it to 63 degrees. So this is the month of February so far. A whole lot of red, above normal temperatures. We're sitting well into the top 10 warmest Februarys on record, likely going to end in the top 10 too, because despite our one below normal day on Saturday anticipated, likely going to see the rest of this month with above normal temperatures. So that you can see that here, I should say, on our 7-day forecast. So we got rain tomorrow, 50 still on Friday, but it does get colder. Saturday's going to be pretty chilly, 35 degrees, and then we'll start to see rebounding temperatures back into the 60s heading into next week. That's also with some rain chances. It does look like late next week we'll see another system make its way through that will bring us some colder air yet again. It's going to be that little roller coaster ride for the rest of the month.
Until about June.
Pretty much, yeah.
We'll see you.